The Nile never asked for permission, it simply rose. It flooded. And if you were living in ancient Egypt, your entire existence, every beat of your heart and every crust of bread on your table depended on what happened in the seconds it took to read those rising waters. Many look at Egypt and see only dead stones and silent pyramids. But the true story isn't at the peak of a monument. It's in the mud. A black silt that held the secret to eternity. Stay with me until the end, because I am going to reveal the exact reason why one civilization thrived in the middle of an unforgiving desert while others, far larger, turned to dust. The secret wasn't strength, it was synchrony. Every year, the river expanded its limits, swallowing fields and surrounding villages. For any other culture, this would be an apocalypse. For the Egyptians, it was a test of faith and engineering. Imagine the suffocating heat of the desert. The cracked earth crying out for a single drop of moisture. Suddenly, the horizon changed. The blue of the river turned murky, heavy with sediment traveling from the heart of Africa. Fear and hope walked hand in hand. Families didn't wait passively. They entered a state of war against hunger. Grains were moved to elevated platforms. Mud brick homes were reinforced with urgency. The elders' men, who carried the scars of decades of floods, watched the water level like one reads a final will and testament. If the Nile rose too little, famine was certain. If it rose too much, homes became tombs of mud. The Nile was not just a river. It was the judge, the jury, and the executioner. In this landscape, individualism was a death sentence. No one prepared alone. You would see children carrying heavy tools, farmers moving livestock to the hills, and women organizing supplies that would need to last for months. There were no machines, no engines. There were only arms, sweat, and an obsessive observation of nature. They created the Nilometer, stone structures designed to measure the river's fury. Every inch told a different story about the nation's future. When the waters finally covered everything, the world went silent. Where there was once the noise of the plough and the shouts of merchants, now there was only the sound of oars hitting the water. Egypt became an archipelago, tiny islands of life surrounded by a sea of floodwater. It was a time of forced pause, a time of waiting where patience was the only technology available. But then the extraordinary happened. The water receded. And what the Nile left behind was not destruction, but the Kemet, the Black Land, a thick, rich, fertile layer of organic silt. This sludge was more valuable than the gold of the pharaohs. It was the miracle of renewal. The river wasn't destroying their future. It was, quite literally, manufacturing the soil where that future would grow. No chemical fertilizers, no electric irrigation. Justrisme. Just the cooperation of a community that understood that nature is not to be dominated, but respected. Wheat and barley seeds were pressed into the still damp soil. Within weeks, what was once a submerged desert exploded into a vibrant green. The cycle was complete. Bread was baked, children grew, and a 3,000-year-old civilization remained standing. Many ask, what was the great secret? How were they not wiped off the map? The answer lies in one word: resilience. They didn't try to stop the river with impossible dams. They learned to dance with it. The secret to Egypt's longevity wasn't the stone of the pyramids, but the flexibility of its people in accepting that, in life, some things need to die or be flooded so that something much more fertile can be born. This is the lesson the Nile leaves us today. What looks like a disaster might just be the soil being prepared for your greatest harvest. If this story changed the way you look at the past, don't keep it to yourself. If you want to uncover more secrets of how humanity survived the impossible, subscribe to the channel right now. Hit the bell icon because our next journey will go even deeper. And comment the word Egypt below so I know you made it to the end and understood the strength of these people. What would you do if your life depended on a rising river? Let's talk in the comments.